Hi, my name is John McDonald and this is my depiction of an artist book. Prior to this class, I never learned what an artist book was. It was really interesting just to learn about what an artist book is and then to be able to create my own as you see here. I used The Humament by Tom Phillips as my reference point for creating this artist book. Here's a picture of Tom Phillips' work, A Humament. This is what I based my artist book on. The app I chose to use was called Photo Layers. This app helped me transfer the single words I wanted to use as chunk links into my pages. The reader-user aspect of this interpretation is up to the user to decide the path he chooses to take. This image was my favorite because it really represented an in-space connection. It also showed how people were small in the scope of viewing the entire universe. I used a filter with high saturation to really emphasize the bright colors to give my image the creative look you can see. In the first image, the individual words, imagination limits gravity, and people are specimens. I thought that this image I chose really represented these words well, because depending on which path you take, the image does a good job at helping reach the conclusion. The first words I want to hit on are the word imagination limits gravity. As you can see, there's a picture of the inside of a human's brain, and you can see here that the human is up in space. And you can see that the words gravity really stick out. The next page of my artist book is also significant. Like the other pages in my artist book, it's also a Technotext because it foregrounds the inscription technology that was used to produce it. Here we have the words people are specimens, or can also be read as specimens are people. Either way, I feel the image really showed this because of the bright colors and the people inside of the people's head. The next image is of a heart split in two with the words game over between it. On the left side are the words lack of confidence and trusting, and on the right are the words inflated or breakup. The thing I really wanted my viewer to focus on in this slide is the lack of confidence and trusting side. I put these words on the left side of the heart where game was because I felt the words represent the game of love. These words as a whole represent one side of the broken heart. As you can see there, the words trusting and confidence near like that left side. This page of my artist book represented on the right side of the heart the words over and also the words at the top right inflated or breakup. I stuck these words on the right side of the page near the word over to really emphasize the fact that this relationship is now over, and the heart is a form of mimesis that symbolizes this. The word break and breakup also represents the broken heart well. The next page in my artist book is probably my favorite because I feel like it is random, however it still represents the image I chose. No matter what way you read or that way you view the image, the conclusion is the same. Here we have an image of a man who is obviously a cyborg. He's a cyborg in that if you look on the side of his face, you can see he's wearing glasses. The first part I want to focus on is the living on his own part. The image I chose really represents this as we see an older man that is on his own staring off into the sunset. The image with the old tree and dark filter really portray a sad and dreary image. Right above this in the tree are the words, as we can see in the next slide, alone and bruised. The word bruised could also describe the tree, but then again it could also describe the man. This image is a form of mimesis in that it represents the man. The tree, as you can see, is also kind of off by itself, and so is the bench. This next image also represents mimesis. It's a form in art and literature that represents two lovers in the real world. The image is from William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The words are scattered in non-linear form. However, the conclusion is obvious, and that is the words read, "She is in love with him," as you can see there. The word love I want to focus on because it is located right in Romeo's heart. This obviously represents love, as love comes from the heart. As you can see here, it's dead in the center of Romeo's heart. The next significant thing about this image is the colors red and yellow, as you see here. Red is typically used to represent blood, and the color yellow in some cultures actually has been known to represent flesh. These colors represent that he is her flesh and blood, and vice versa. The next page in my artist book is also quite simple, but for good reason. Here we have an image of a young boy coming face to face with a gray big swan. The boy appears to be holding food, and the boy appears to be really connecting with these mallards in the picture as well as with the swan. The image is read in a rhizomatic reading form with chunk links and different routes that can be taken to reach a conclusion. I'd read in right order. If read in right order, it reads a sympathetic connection. Here we have a boy clashing or coming face to face with this animal and really connecting with the swan. Here's a close-up of the sympathetic connection of the mallards and the boy. The boy appears to really be connecting with the mallards, as you'll see in the next image. The next image is a close-up of the boy with the big swan, and the words read, a clash with. I felt this image really represented these words well, because it looks as if the swan wants whatever is in the boy's hands badly, and the boy doesn't appear to be willing to give up the bag of food as it looks like. The last image I chose for my artist book is the simplest probably in all the pages of my artist book to understand. Here we have a close-up of the words to connect, and also next is the words of a close-up to warning diffuse. Here we have an image of the wire with the words warning at you, as you can see here in the center of the wire, the big letters. The word diffuse is after this, and you can see where the cord splits. I chose a darker image to represent the loss of connection, or more specifically power. These words really stuck out to me in paragraph of this book. I figured what better way to represent a connection than the image of a wire. Just like Phillips a human, I feel like this image and these words really represent and emphasize interiorized subjectivity. Another interesting thing about this last image is how I only use 4 words. This short length on this page represents a short or loss of connection. The words on the wire of this image are also unclear because of the loss of light. Connection that this image represents is here. You can see the words warning diffuse, which really stuck out in the paragraph. And that's it.